Hi, I'm Damon Atkins. I'm a real estate broker with the Atkins Group. This is our first episode where we'll be discussing different properties all across the state of Alabama. We'll be discussing the value of those properties and how to actually determine the value and what to actually offer, give you a ballpark range. There's no way I can be accurate, and I'm disclaimer that I am not an appraiser. I can only give like a broker price opinion, and I can't be accurate without actually doing actual research and actually coming to an accurate conclusion. This is just our opinion here on this talk show. And today we're going to carry you into York and look at a couple commercial properties there. The first one is going to be 617 4th Avenue there in York. It's an old Church's Chicken building there. It's 1,697 square feet according to the listing here. It's listed by eXp Realty. The building actually, it was designed as a food restaurant. It's designed just like all other Church's Chicken building. And it listed now for $199. I understand that it was listed for more than that, and now it's dropped down to $199. And people had asked me if that's a good price for that building. It's a lot of things that actually affect price. You got like the economy in that area. And then once you're talking about a commercial building, there's nothing to compare that old building to actually come up with a price for it. So what you have to do on a commercial building, you can actually see how much it costs to reconstruct the building just like that and calculate the depreciation over the years and come up with an accurate number for it. But there's other things that affect value as well. You have to think about what other food restaurants. I think now down in York you have like different food trucks, things of that nature. So with selling chicken out of there the same way Church Chicken did would be an actually good idea. If you do something other than a food restaurant off in there, you'll have to go in there and renovate the inside because it's probably got a freezer in there, different things like that to actually keep the meat. So if you have to go in there and renovate the entire building, will you still offer $199 on that building? That's a question you have to actually ask yourself when you thinking about an offering price and the value of that particular building there. It all depends on the best use of the building and the location and where it is. As far as selling chicken or as far as doing a restaurant, I'm not sure about that or what type of restaurant, what type of food that you're going to sell. You got to think about, you have to do some research on your demographics and think about what the people in that area like to eat, what they have become accustomed to eating. So if you open up a restaurant and sell something, chicken for an example, let's say you just sell wings or chicken or things of that nature, and you got the food trucks, and I think you got gas stations and all that actually sell chickens there. Will $190,000 be something you want to pay for that building to actually compete with all the other people in that area? So when you think about buying a building such as that, you got to really think on what can I actually do in this building that will actually be profitable or worth the money that I actually invest in that building. So it's a pretty decent building, if you ask me. It looked like in the notes here they're going to actually replace the roof and all of that prior to closing. If you can come up with a good idea, a good business idea to actually put in place and effect in that area, I think it'll be a good building to actually get. But if it's like a restaurant, I don't think it's worth $199 for a restaurant in that area. Now, the second one that we will be looking at is going to be 181 something Academy Road. 181 something Academy Road. I understand that's the old school. That's the old something Academy. The school was built, I think, back in the 1970s. It's a pretty decent school. Look like it's in pretty decent shape. They asked them $399 for it. Initially, when you hear $399 for a school, you think, oh my God. That's, like $399, that's not bad for an entire school. But then you got to think in terms, okay, if you buy that school, what you going to do in that area? I mean, what you going to do with a school? They got schools down in there. They got a public school down in that area. So what are you going to do with it? So what type of school are you going to open up? If you're not going to open up a school, you got to be thinking in other terms, such as, am I going to renovate the whole inside of the building? What am I going to do? Do I have the population? Do I have the people in the area to actually come come to whatever I open up that is worth me actually investing $399 into this building. You have to ask yourself that question. So as far as generally speaking, for as a school concerned, I think it's worth $399, but in the area and considering that there is public schools there, and what else can you do with a building that's already constructed for a school? You can't just open up another public school. I mean, what type of, even if you open up a college there, so do you have the population and the people there that's going to actually attend that college? You have to think about things like that. Now, trade schools, consider the area trade schools, and I think LaShawn Wallace is looking at doing something like that, trade school, something like that down there. It may be very beneficial to what he is doing. But other than that, I can't think of anything else that you would actually be able to use that building for in the area. And I say that because you have to think about this. If it's nothing to actually use it for in that area, that affects the value of the building. Now, it's a nice building, it's nice shape, and if you can find something to actually do with it that'll be worth the money, I will actually get it myself. But considering the area and what's going on in the area and who can benefit from actually having that building, I don't think I wouldn't pay $399 for it just to say I bought a school. You have to really look at what you're doing, and considering long term, you can't just look for just 1 year down the road, because $399, that's a lot of money to be invested, and that's not something you're going to get back in the first year. You got to look long term, 10, 20 years down the road. Do you have the population of the people in that area to actually sustain running something like that to the point where it's worth investing $300,099, $400,000? That you had to really think about that. So it's things like that that actually affects the value. You got to think about the population. Is the population declining? Or is it going up? I mean, is it increasing? You have to think about things of that nature too. Is the people down there into education, if you want to buy it for the purpose of the school? Are they into education? I heard somebody said you probably could do like a CDL training. Do you have that many people down there who actually want to actually get a CDL license? It's things like that you have to think about, and how long. Think about the trucking. You have to look at the trucking industry, and I think it's on decline. Less people are actually getting CDLs now. So if you're going to get into the educational business with that, you got to be willing to actually switch programs. Switch them out depending on, with the changes of time and what people are doing, what people are into now. And I think trade school, something that doesn't take that long to get 2 to 3 weeks, 3 months. You could do a CDL, but you're gonna have to have something else to go along with it. But even with trade schools, just the trades that don't take that long to get, I still wouldn't think that it would be worth that $399. But yeah, that's my opinion concerning the commercial buildings there in York. So if you have any other buildings or any other property houses or anything like that you want me to discuss and actually give my opinion on, just shoot it to me in my inbox or something like that. But until next time, I'm Damian Atkins with the Atkins Group.